We are live, and I have the one, the only, Mr. Jacob Metzger, otherwise known as Jacob Loves Being Alive, because he does. He's amazing. He's wonderful. I am so grateful that he is here with us. Jacob, thank you so very much for gracing us with your time, your presence, your energy, your magnetic amazingness.
I love you so much. It is my superb honor to be here.
Thank you, Jacob. What are you up to? What's been amazing? Well, obviously, so much has been amazing, but what's been really amazing in your life right now?
Besides everything, s- specifically, I love the brand that I'm creating for leaders.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed watching my audience grow. We are expected to be at 100,000 followers by the end of the year just on Instagram. And just the value that I've been blessed to add has been so fulfilling and wonderful. And crypto is taking off. We have systems in place that are just allowing our family and future generations to thrive. And I just feel like such a boss taking care of all that and being disciplined with our finances and creating absolute freedom.
Mm.
So that's been really delicious.
And your planners and your coaching. There's so much.
I know, and
We're gonna get into
all
all of
that
that.
too.
But
I was
it,
just
it
talking with told you I was
just
talking with my team and was like, okay, we need to get back to the planners and get back to your coaching. You've been on this crypto and wealth rampage for a little bit.
how
So,
dare you be so busy, amassing massive wealth and growing a following. How dare you not focus on other things at the moment?
guilty, guilty.
I love it. It doesn't it feel like for me, it feels like 2020 to 2024 was kind of wonky. It was a little wavy. It was a little weird. For me, it was actually very depressing in many moments, really amazing in others. But don't you kind of feel like 2025 is this rocket ship? Like things are just really taking off. It feels like to me we're in a new spring season where things are just popping off. They're blossoming. They're blooming. It feels very plentiful.
hmm
Do you feel that?
For my family and my ecosystem, absolutely. I
Yeah.
think there's a bit of a shift in the timeline of where we're going as a species of some people are really going to thrive in what's coming, and other people are going to be even more controlled by the system.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Well, this is the sovereign podcast. So I think we need to talk about that because, yeah, maybe in the spiritual world, we've heard about like the two earths or the earth splitting in two and consciousness going in different ways and the polarity. And I really see that especially now, what's coming, you're either on a rocket ship in the right direction or on a rocket ship in the wrong direction. And what do you think? Tell me about that. Like, what's your insight on that? The split that's happening, but it's going to get even more exponential.
I think movies like Ready Player One, Star Wars, a lot of these sci-fi fantasy movies are going to become real life. And not in such a dramatic way, but in a way that the gap between the wealthy, and this is just factual, it's just numbers, the gap between the ultra poor and the ultra wealthy is continuing to widen. And now we're introducing digital currencies like stablecoins into the entire global economy. It's people are just going to become more dependent on the system who do not have the faculties yet to think for themselves, to think outside of what they've been conditioned to believe about themselves, about their opportunities and how they can change their circumstances or not. And then there's going to be the people who have decided to think for themselves, to take conscious control of their life, and to move their family and their communities in a empowering, harmonious, and loving direction.
Mm. Yeah. What do you think about? I know you made a post the other day, and I've been loving your post. As Jacob was saying to everyone watching, his brand is just growing, and he's really gone all in on giving so much value and sharing his insight and showing up online and just gracing us with so much of his wisdom and personality. And one of the posts that you made this week was a comment post to somebody saying that if you get into crypto, you are building the reptilian control, the CBDCs, and it's just more Orwellian control over. And while I do think that there's some truth to that, tell me about that for the people who are like Bitcoin is going to destroy and AI is destroying our world. What do you think about that?
It doesn't matter what I think or you think, Samantha. That's the point that people miss. The people who have the gold make the rules. In other words, the elite, the Illuminati, the moneymakers, whatever you want to call the elite bankers of the world who are the puppets that control the world show, that control the media, they are the ones moving the whole of our economy in a certain direction. So it doesn't matter if I think Bitcoin is the devil or XRP is the devil or digital currency is this negative entity, because that's the direction we're headed. So I might as well own the rails and own the assets that are going to be a part of that new infrastructure. So I can take that money and use it for the greater good of this world.
Yeah, that's how I see it too. It's a kind of a classic case if, well, if you can't beat them, join them in a way, like use the systems, use the structures that they are using, get smart. It's one of the things I teach a lot is follow what the billionaires do. And that's not the evil, nefarious things because they do a lot of that, but follow how they utilize and move their money. Follow the systems that they use to set themselves free and set their families free for generations after generations. Like follow the people who know the secrets and are doing all of the tricks so that you can use that, benefit from that, right? Be free, be sovereign from that, and then do good with it.
100%.
Because if you're out, and I think it's a great idea to go out, build an eco village off grid, not have money, grow your own food and have chickens and just live totally off grid. And I think you can have an amazing life doing that. And are you contributing to the planet? Are you helping others? Are you truly sovereign, or are you just kind of repressed and disconnected from the planet? And I'm not saying that's wrong, but I think there's a balance that we get to have. At least for myself, I want to have that balance where I utilize the systems and the tech and the structures available and funnel it to do good.
It's the only way, in my opinion. Yeah, it still costs money to buy land. It still costs money to take care of livestock. It still costs money to grow your own food.
Yeah.
Like, like it or not, money is part of our culture. And my thesis around that is I might as well master this game so I never have to worry about the thing that most humans worry about the most.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I know that you also do a lot of work with relationships and marriage and men and women. And what do we know about the one of the main causes of relationship challenges or fights, divorce, money, money
Yeah,
challenges, this
100%.
stress, because the stress of not having money is the stress of survival. And when you are barely surviving and you have all the neurochemicals of stress and survival threat, how are you then going to show up juicy and delicious and wonderful with your partner? It can be really hard.
You said it. Biologically, we literally can't be at our best if we're in survival mode.
Yeah.
Our amygdala takes over, the part of our brain that controls the fight or flight. We literally cannot see the world from an abundant viewpoint when we are stressed. It's a biological certainty. So you might as well free up that sense of inner creativity and personal power by being wealthy. And then, yeah, then who knows what good you can do. I'll share this one thing before you say something next, because I feel you're gearing up. I'd never forget it. I was at a Tony Robbins conference, and he was talking about the first moment he became financially free, where he never had to work again a day in his life if he didn't want to. And he said, that was the moment everything changed, because now I have absolute creative, like I can feel my absolute creative potential because I no longer have to work for money. He said that's when his life really became almost unlimited, so to speak, because he didn't have to make money anymore. He can just focus on being the artist, focus on being the creator, focus on being the contributor and giver of his gifts.
I see that as liberation from the matrix, right? When
Liberation.
I think when you are living for a paycheck, and there's no shame in that, and we're not shame, but when you are living for a paycheck and your well-being, your ability to eat, your ability to have a roof over your head is tied to a job that you have to show up for in the confines of how that job is dictating for you. Your creative energy, your freedom, like all of your life force energy is just constrained, right? Exactly that. And this is what I see over and over and over again is when you are no longer constrained by the survival necessity to get that paycheck, you're freed up. And then when you follow your passion and your purpose and what you're here on this planet to do, like endless, endless. And I love what you said, Jacob, about how you get to hold that for your family, right? Like you are figuring out that financial piece with the crypto and the investments, and like you're holding that. And I love hearing that because in our culture, we're kind of seeing a movement where we're moving away from men being the pillar of providership in the families, right? How many people do we know that like pay 50-50 for everything in their male female relationships? And I want you to talk about that, like, why is that important for you?
I think it's important for not just me, but any person that has a masculine essence. And of course, we all have masculine and feminine, but for the core, we all have a core, right? Like my core is masculine, my wife's core is feminine. It feels good to provide, but not just provide financially, provide emotional safety. My wife, I'm so attuned to my wife's nervous system, Samantha. I know exactly what she's feeling the moment I'm in her field. And
Mm.
that allows me to attune to what she needs, attune to her emotions, attune to her feelings, and be a safe space emotionally for her. So, not just emotional safety, but physical safety. I'm a fucking beast. Your man is even more beastly than I am. And I'm sure you feel incredibly safe with how physically adept your man is. Same thing with my wife. Like, it feels good that my wife feels safe in my arms. It feels good that I can protect her from physical threats. And it feels good that I am providing her financial safety so she doesn't have to work, so she can focus on what lights her up, so she can focus on giving her gifts in her unique, unapologetic way, in whatever creative way that she wants. It feels good as a man to do that for my family, for my woman, and for my ecosystem.
Mm. Yeah, I think that the movement where men are not providing financially, not providing that containment, maybe they're providing emotional safety, or emotional attunement, because I think men now tend to be more emotionally aware, but not being in the masculine of like providership and containment and to have that primal masculine energy. I do think that that's just a there's a breakdown in masculinity in that. And with that, we're seeing that, if men are becoming what I call more beta or more feminized, and then women have to provide for themselves financially, they have to go out and work, they have to secure their own survival, they have to maybe even provide for themselves. Maybe they're even getting, like buff and strong to feel like they have to, be that physical fit person. We're seeing such an imbalance. The polarity is falling apart. Women's hormones are totally out of whack, but so are men's hormones, testosterone dropping, over estrogen dominance rising in women. And I think it's so important for men to remember and feel what it feels like to be a man, to be a provider, like to give to their woman. Like even the anatomy of a man and a woman, the man is the penetrative energy. The woman is the receptive energy. It's even in our biology. And I think people need to hear these kind of conversations about that.
I always say that the masculine is the external leader in a relationship, like the pursuer. I'm pursuing financial freedom for our family. I'm pursuing emotional safety for my wife. I'm pursuing being my best self for my family and for the world at large. And the woman is the internal leader within the relationship. My wife is my oracle. In many
Mm.
ways, she is much more emotionally expanded than I am. And she has taught me invaluable lessons in the realm of being a safe space, by demonstrating that. I've
Mm.
learned so much about embodying compassion and unconditional love and patience because of my wife. And the safety that she's provided me uh, has allowed my own vision, my own inner authority to expand immensely because of her, the value of her inner gnosis. She's the oracle, she's the visionary, and I'm the one who makes that vision materialize.
Mm. Yeah, the perfect the divine union, right? Like,
Right.
that's how it gets to be, and I know even for myself, being married to my husband, which our dynamic is so different than any dynamic I've ever had with any other man, like, there's nothing similar to any other relationship I've had. It has changed me drastically. I just feel like a flower blossoming, right? And I think that's what happens when a woman is held by the right partner with the right energetic, and you have that ratio, that equation proper, you can just, it's like you breathe and you blossom, and then you emanate, and magic and magnetism, wonder and whimsical nature just blossoms from women. And I think that's where we're at our best, when women are truly blossomed, and men are anchored in their power and in their essence. It's just so good. It's
That metaphor of a flower is so perfect because it's like a woman's yoni in her heart. Like if
Mm.
the flower doesn't have the safety and the warmth of the sun and the other nutrients it needs to bloom open and thrive, you're never going to touch the core of your wife or the core of your woman if she doesn't feel safe enough to fully open her petals and receive you. And she needs that sense of physical safety, emotional safety, and even financial safety. And I just want to be clear for the men listening to this that you don't need to be rich or ultra wealthy. You just got to have some of your shit together financially. You got to be disciplined. You got to have some sort of financial literacy. You want to be making strategic investments that compound your money long term. You don't need to be even a millionaire. Just be smart and disciplined, and your wife will feel safer with you.
Oh, agreed. And, it's not that hard. I had zero financial literacy, right? I was not raised with any financial literacy. I didn't even know what money was. Like, no clue. I don't really think that anybody really actually knows what money is unless they've done the research. But what I'm saying now is ChatGPT, ChatGPT or any kind of AI can tell you everything. Like, teach me financial literacy, make me a plan. There's no excuse anymore for I don't know. Whenever somebody says I don't know, I ask them, do you know what the internet is? Do you know how to use a search engine? The I don't know is an excuse nobody can utilize in this day and age. Every answer is available to you. It's just, are you too lazy? Do you not care? Are you apathetic? Or are you willing to make the moves and dedicate some time and put your energy to where you're going to get results for yourself and for your family? That is really it.
Everything you said, Samantha, is always brilliant. And I just, my mind goes to, oh, that's just a protection mechanism. The sense of laziness, the not caring. It's all a protection mechanism of the small self.
Yeah.
That's what I like to call it. The self that keeps you from living up to your potential, that protects you from potential risks or not being enough or not being loved. But that's all just a story
Yeah.
and a nervous system state that you can change. So my work is all about going from the small self and kind of like unwiring those beliefs and behaviors and habits and remembering the true self, the real self, the you that is unbounded, that is unlimited, that can be, do, have, create, give, contribute anything that they want. I think that's what most humans really want in their soul, to be
I
the
think
best version of themselves and to give their gifts to the world.
that's why we're here. And when people ask, what is the
I think
meaning of
so.
life, or what's the purpose of life? Why are we alive? That, that.
I think so.
to come in disconnected, disillusioned in this crazy world and to find the path, to go from the illusion that you are not enough, you are not worthy, you are not deserving, you are this, you are that, blah, 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 right? We could call that the devil, we can call that the illusion, we can call that the small self, but it's just not the truth.
Yes,
It's just
100%.
not the infinite nature of who we are. And then I believe that the path in life is come into alignment with your highest self actualization, right? If we look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if we're stuck in survival, you're never going to ascend. And to ascend is to go through the levels and to achieve self actualization, which is infinite, it's boundless. We are so powerful. And it's so good. I love what you said to get clear on like those stories and the things that are holding you back. Because once you're aware of that, oh, they're just beliefs. They're just stories. They're just things that were conditioned into me from other people that had those same beliefs. But I can choose. That's what's so cool about this reality, about being a human is you can change, you can choose, you can evolve, you can change every single thing about you. Right? Like, but nobody's gonna do that for you. And yes, you can have amazing coaches, like myself, Jacob. There's amazing people that can hold that for you and like, shake you and guide you and support you in that. But at the end of the day, you have to make that decision. My life is worth it. I'm worth it. And the people that I'm going to affect, they're worth it as well. So Jacob, say people are listening, right? Maybe like I have a lot of women that listen, and they're feeling like, "Ooh, okay, maybe my partner." Like I have a lot of people that reach out to me, and they're like, "I just feel like my partner's just not stepping up, or that I'm having to do it all on my own, or like you know." If every man was listening to this or every couple was listening to this and you had that megaphone where you can just like speak deep wisdom to these people, how do they even start? Where do they even begin, or what would you wanna say to them?
Of course, it takes two to tango. It takes two mature partners, a man and woman, or whatever combo of genders, to make a relationship thrive. That said, women are much more reflective of the energy they receive from their man. So if their man treats them with love and compassion and respect and is a safe space that they can orbit around, again, a safe space physically, emotionally, materially, if he can be that mountain for his partner, more often than not, with the hundreds of men I've coached, that woman will begin opening and unfurling and showering her radiant gifts onto him again. So I believe men can be the solution that women deserve, that their wife deserves. But that's not saying women don't play an equal part in having the relationship thrive. I just focus on men because that's my skill set. And where also I've lacked massive integrity in the past, and where I have failed countless times with powerful, I've had the blessing of dating such amazing, powerful, confident women who've really called me out on my shit. And I've learned through a lot of pain what it means to be a sovereign man in relationship. And in my experience, men can be the solution they are looking for.
Mm. I'm gonna give the counterpart to that too, because in my relationships, I have seen this on the other side too. It's like, well, are we both gonna wait for the other person to take the first move? And yes, I do think in a perfect world, and if I'm coaching couples, I will lead with the man, like you, because the man can lead really. However, for the women, it's really important to be super aware of how you are interacting with your man and how you're seeing your man, because in your mind, if you see your man as weak, if you see him as impotent, if you see him as a failure, if you see him as horrible, your energy is going to very clearly send off that signal. And if your man is already not very strong and in his power, he can feel so imprisoned and just pushed down from that. And that can feel really heavy and it can almost imprison him in that. And then if you see him in those in all of those ways, you're going to interact with him as if he is all of those things. And so one of the practices that I have personally done and I encourage other women to do is to see your man as the king already, to see him in his highest, to see him and visualize him and put that vision in your heart and then treat him that way. Stop emasculating him, stop complaining about him, stop berating him, stop nagging him, stop mothering him, stop coaching him, stop therapisting him, and just see him and treat him as if he was already in his power and watch what happens.
Amen. This is such a superb conversation, Samantha. For the women listening to this, some of the holiest words, got a hand cramp, some of the holiest words your man can receive from you and the holiest actions that you can do your best to embody in relationship is, I trust you. I trust you to rise. I trust you to steer the ship. I trust you to, I trust you. And if you can show your man, even if you don't trust him, little by little, you can demonstrate that you're opening to trusting him. That's what a man longs for. That's why it feels so good to be a provider, is that sense of, oh, like I got my family and they trust me to get them. They trust me is the feeling that men love more than anything.
Isn't that why faith is the highest frequency? Isn't that why all of Christianity is all about faith, like having faith? When we have faith, when we believe in something, it liberates us. It literally switches and changes our neurochemistry, our biology, our hormones, and then it also liberates the other. And it encourages them, it gives them that energetic platform to rise into. And yeah, faith is and trust is so important and not easy, especially when we all have our traumas and we all have the challenges and we've all, experienced some form of victimhood and we've all had things happen that makes us want to close up and guard and stay separate. But true connection is about trusting each other and
Mm,
and being willing to be open, to be vulnerable, to love, which takes, it takes a lot of courage and bravery, but that's where the magic happens.
100%.
Jacob, I want to go back because you said something about the sovereign man. And and so we'll talk about the sovereign man, but even the sovereign human. Like what would you say that is for you? Like paint the picture for us of what is possible when we tap into the sovereign man or the sovereign human. What is that in your mind? What is that in your heart?
Getting what you want out of life. You are sovereign if you have the knowledge and take the necessary actions to live the life that you want to live in its fullest and brightest potential.
What got you on this path? Was it always were you born like this? Did you always think this way or what was that journey like for you?
Like everyone, I've gone through my own hero's journey and have faced a lot of bosses and self inflicted demons. And I'm not enough, so I won't be loved. If I put this out there, nobody will like it. Uh, All those stories. And there's nothing special about me or anyone people may admire, like yourself. The Samanthas, the Jacobs, the whoever's. What separates a leader from a follower is just courage. Courage to face those demons, courage to look at those shadows that are holding you back and keeping you small, courage to take action on your dreams and your aspirations and your goals, even though it frightens the fuck out of you to do so. Courage is just going first and having faith in what comes after.
And what I find with courage, and I so agree, is the first courageous jump is always the hardest. It's like a flaccid muscle that you've never flexed, right? It's just like, ugh.
Yes.
And then, like any other muscle,
And it gets real hard.
real hard in the beginning. With, my brain's going into like blood flow. Okay, anyways, back on track. with it is a muscle. Like bravery is a muscle, courage is a muscle,
Totally.
consistency is a muscle, and it's the first time. All of the fear and all of the belief, like that is the hardest time. But once you get a rep in, and you're like, oh, I didn't die. Okay, my whole life didn't fall apart. Oh, I didn't go bankrupt. All of the ego fears that keeping you, the small self fears coming in, then you're like, "Oh, I actually can do this." And you see with every little success, it fuels your ambition, and every bit of ambition fuels your success. You just have to get on that wheel because there's a wheel here of success and ambition, ambition and success, and it's in momentum, and you're here kinda stuck. Well, you just have to jump onto that wheel, and that's where courage comes in. And then the faith that that wheel exists and it exists for you as well. Right? It's like, I'm not that special. You're not that special. Nobody's that special. The Tony Robbins of the world. Sure, everyone has skills and they have talents and, God-given gifts, but nobody's that special. Everyone that has been successful on this planet just took some leaps of faith and just did the thing. They just had the dream. Yes, it's been easier for some and harder for others, but they had the dream, they had the vision, they had the goal, and they did the thing. And they just did it over and over and let themselves get better. And they continuously got the reps in of courage, action, momentum, consistency. And that's really it. Like I tell people when they like, Sam, you're so lucky, or oh my God, you da da da, I could never do what you do. Yes, you can. You have a mouth, you have a brain, you have a face, you have a phone. Do the
Unique
thing.
life experiences.
And you have life experiences. That's exactly it. Yeah. And I like what you said. So you said sovereign is getting what you want from life. Yeah, and your version and my version, well, our versions are pretty similar, but other people that we don't have all the same definition of what that means. But I love that. It's like deciding what you want, what is meant for you, and doing what you need to do to have that.
And enjoy it, which is
Yeah,
perhaps the most important part.
I think it is.
Yeah, success
Yeah.
without joy, without fulfillment is total failure. Well, I know so many, Samantha, I've worked with so many multimillionaires. I haven't worked with a billionaire, but that would be cool. Multimillionaires who have all of these material possessions that anybody could ever wish for, yet they're overweight, diseased, unhappy. Like, what's the point? If you're not vibrant and alive and enjoying the material abundance of this world, what's the point?
That's exactly it. I've seen the same thing. And my husband, as you know, he's a bodyguard and worked with all of the elite celebrities, the royalty, and the stories that he can tell about these people that have it all and yet have nothing, just nothing. Because that's the thing. If you don't really love yourself, if you don't have joy, if you don't have deep, meaningful connections, if you don't trust the people that you're around, if you don't feel deeply connected and on purpose and filled with that joy for life, you are so empty. And then when you have everything that they say is supposed to make you feel full, like the fame and the success and the brand then you feel even emptier because you have all the things that they say is going to make you feel happy and fulfilled and you don't. So then you feel like even more of a failure. So
Right.
I love that. It's like it's such an inner game. And yes, the outside world of the fame and the brand and the business and the money, those things are all great, amazing. And yet they're nothing unless you have the things that truly, truly matter.
I want to share with your audience because I just know so many people are asking, well, how do I experience joy? How do I experience fulfillment? It's like if you're not growing as a human being, that's number one. Like if you're not growing your character, if you're not getting healthier, if you're not moving towards things or goals that are important to you, you got to grow. Anything that doesn't grow as in nature dies. It's a natural evolution. You have to grow or you die. And then you have to give your gifts, contribute in a way that's meaningful to you. We came here, like Samantha said, to to serve others, to shine and to give. There's no greater sense of fulfillment than finding your unique way to give your love and your skills and your things to the world.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. And some people say, "Well, I don't have any gifts." Yes, you do.
bullshit, bullshit.
Yes, you do.
Give me or Samantha one session with you, and you will know what your gifts are.
Exactly, we can reflect that to you, and that's why, again, it is so important to be around people who see you and can reflect that back to you and want you to win. Anybody that you're around that does not want you to win or that's keeping you small, keeping you stuck, I think you just go
See ya.
bye-bye.
See ya.
No time for that. I'll give you a story, and I'll share this story with you, Jacob, and my listeners. I remember being, in elementary school, and I was the person that everybody would call, right? My mom had to take out a second phone line because people would always call me. And in high school or junior high, high school, I was the person that everybody would go to anytime they had a problem with their relationship or with school or with their parents or with something going on and they didn't feel good. They would just call me. And then I realized one day when I went to see a therapist, because I had a lot of my own issues from my family. And I remember I was realizing I'm sitting with somebody and that's their job to just have people talk to them. And I realized I was like, that's what I do. And then I realized in that moment, okay, what is this thing called? That's called a psychologist or a therapist or coach. And I'm like, that's what I'm going to be. When I grow up, I'm going to get paid to do what I'm already doing. Take phone calls all day and just help people. And it clicked for me. I was like, that's my gift. People, seeing people, reflecting, helping them. You have a gift. And maybe it's so natural to you that you don't even know what it is, but you have a gift and I truly believe the way to find your joy is to find out what that is. What are your gifts? What are your talents? What are your skills? What can you give to others? That's the coolest thing about having a gift is it's meant to be given away. And the more you do that, and the more you do that consistently, irreverently, and you claim that and you own that, the universe showers you with praise, fulfillment, fame, growth, money, whatever it is, community, connection. Like, that's the true meaning of life. That's how you unlock it. And my definition of sovereignty is when you are liberated from the confines of that small self, when you're liberated from the illusion, when you're liberated from the devil energy keeping you twisted and just so oppressed and you are free to be who you really are and share what you're about and why you're here and make this world a better place and do that with people that you love. Have these kind of conversations, run events, do whatever it is, but just give of yourself to the world and watch as you make the world so much more beautiful. You make my world more beautiful, Jacob. I love you so much. Are you willing to give us some behind the scenes? Like you are somebody that's so successful, right? You work for yourself, you have an amazing life. You have an amazing wife. You have a wonderful family. You're making the money. You're helping people. You work with millionaires and soon to be billionaires. For people that are like looking at you and saying, "Oh my gosh, I want that." Like, could you give some behind the scenes on how you were able to create that sovereignty for yourself?
If you think about what money is, and I'm not just talking about money here, I'm going to get to a point. Those who add the most value to others make the most money. If you think like the Jeff Bezos, he created Amazon. Now, Jeff Bezos isn't directly adding value to people, but his ecosystem is. Same thing with every other billionaire you can think of. They are a billionaire because their systems have added immense value to a wide amount of people. So, piggybacking off that, I've created a sense of wholeness and sovereignty in my life from wanting to just add as much value to the people I love and the people around me online as possible. It's such a big question. How do I, the behind the scenes, how do I do this? Ask me, take me deeper because it's such
Yeah.
a big thing.
Mm. So let's talk about your business specifically.
Great.
I know that you've been doing your own business for a while, but you had a journey as well. You worked for some amazing people. Like what was that like for somebody who's like, no, I want sovereignty in my business. I want to create a business that then creates a life that sets me free?
Become really good at one skill, like exceptionally good. Samantha mentioned people come to her because she's like a practical psychologist. She's done her inner work to be someone that people she gives answers to people, and then people hopefully take action on those answers and improve their life. So if you want to start a business, just get really good at one skill, like I did, like Samantha did, and then hire people and get mentored by people who already have the results you want. That's like the fast track. That's how I feel like I'm 34, 35. I don't think I'm 34. Like mentors have been like a hyper speed engine for me in my life.
Yeah.
All the extra money that I've made since I was 23, 24 years old has gone into mentors and my personal development and getting around people who already have the results I get, or already have the results I want, and learning what they did, the tactics, the strategies, the mindset to get those results. That's like the ultimate cheat code. It's like Jesus and the 12 disciples. Jesus passed down all his wisdom to the 12 disciples so they can then take action and spread that medicine to
Yes.
everyone.
Yeah. Wait, sometimes when you hear coaches talk about that, like, you want to be successful, the number one thing you have to do is get a coach. Some people think like, oh, well, it's because they're selling coaching. And maybe some people, but I have to piggyback on what Jacob said. And I agree a hundredfold. I struggled building my own business. I started when I was 18. Okay. And I only became quite sovereign and successful when I was 26, maybe even 27. I'm 37 next week. So I it took a long time because I was like, "Well, I don't have the money to invest in hiring somebody. I don't have the money to invest in a coach." Well, back when I started, there wasn't even coaching programs really, but I just thought I'm gonna do it myself and DIY it and just figure it out. And my journey was so long and stressful, and I developed an eating disorder in the middle there because I was so stressed about it. And I just think when I finally invested in a coach and a mastermind, and I went and got myself in a room with people that were way out of my league, that's when that mastermind, that moment was when I went from struggling to then just having some people give me a few things, a few tweaks, a few things of guidance. I launched again and I have been fully booked and fully working for myself ever since. And I think, oh my gosh, why didn't I just get a credit card? If I had no money, put the $3,000 or $5,000 on a credit card and then go and make that $5,000 back in a week. Like, it is the cheat code. Hiring a coach, somebody who has failed and succeeded and who knows what doesn't work and who knows what works and can see you and reflect you and guide you and hold you accountable and put you on that rocket ship. I literally the only reason why you wouldn't do that is if you seriously do not believe in yourself, because it is the cheat code, and not every coach is great, right? There's a
That's
lot
the
of
important part.
yeah,
Like, that's why I said in the beginning, like, make sure whoever coach or mentor you hire, make sure, like, literally ask them. I've lost so much money because of this, and I learned the lesson the hard way more
yeah,
than once. Make sure that person has the result you want. Meaning, if you want to make seven figures in your business, make sure that person has a seven-figure business. If
yeah,
you want a successful, thriving, sexy, passionate marriage, make sure whoever you're going to has that. And if they don't take their advice because they don't have the nervous system embodiment experience. They may have knowledge, but if
yeah.
they don't have the experience in their body of what it means to have that result, I would not trust them as my mentor.
This
Personally.
might I 1,000,000%, this is gonna trigger people, but I will not go to a personal trainer that is not shredded. I will not go to a hairdresser that doesn't have beautiful hair. I would not go to a
He was
doctor
obvious.
that's fat. I would not hire a relationship coach that is not married. I would not hire a business coach unless they have the results I want and got it in a way that I'm willing to get it. Because
Yes.
that too, right? I'm not gonna hire the man that is working 80 hours a week to get his millions. That's not what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hire maybe the woman or the man who gets it from a nervous system place, who does it in an authentic way. Like, you also have to see the path and be ask yourself, is that the path that I want to walk as well? And so, yeah, getting the right mentor for you, the right coach, somebody that you resonate with, and somebody that's willing to answer your questions and make sure that they're actually the right fit is so important. Yeah.
Yeah, the right coach, the right mentor can distill decades of experiences and knowledge and trials and challenges into days for you.
Who are you the right coach for? Like, if there's somebody listening to this and they're like, maybe Jacob's for me, how would they be able to raise their hand and be like, oh, yeah, I am for sure the right client for Jacob, and Jacob is the right client for me? What would that person be?
Any high achieving leader or aspiring leader that, and by leader, I mean someone who takes conscious control of their life, someone who's not, playing by the wayside, someone who's not captured by the small self, someone who wants to shine. Any high achieving leader or aspiring leader who wants to improve their financial ecosystem, who wants a financial blueprint that guarantees success as long as you're committed to it, someone who wants to improve their relationship with their husband or their wife, and someone who wants to just perform at their best and feel incredible in their mind, body, and spirit.
Yeah. Yeah. That what I'm really hearing is that optimization space. Right, somebody who is, like, maybe already 60, 70, maybe even 80% of the way there, but they're like, "I have my eyes set on 100, on 111." Like, I'm going. Yeah. Okay, cool. So if you're listening to this, and I think especially if you're a man listening to this, not that Jacob doesn't work with women, but especially if you're a man and you've maybe been lacking male leadership or lacking that strong masculine role model, or lacking kinda like that brother, coach, father figure that can hold your hand and be like, "I got you, and this is where we're going," definitely connect with Jacob because he's just amazing. And again, everyone that listens to me, you know that I share Jacob's posts. You know that I tell you to follow him. I want to see it. I'm going to go and look at your Instagrams and make sure, be like, listen, if you're not following Jacob, you are not living life right.
Does this mean we're wrapping up? Because I feel like I'm just getting started.
We're not wrapping up.
Okay,
We're
good.
just taking we have more time. Yeah.
Okay,
We
good.
started late, but we have more time. I just had to plug in some appreciation and
Thank you.
forceful follow invitations.
Yes.
What do you feel like? Okay, you're like, we're just getting started. What else? What do you really want to dive into?
I can go back and forth with you all day.
Okay, 10-hour podcast. I think well, retreat, we have to we need to talk about this. The weirdest thing for everyone listening is Jacob and I have been friends for 8 years, 9,
Has it
9.
been that
It's
long?
been a long time. It's been almost 8 years. Yeah, we've been talking for years before
But
I
we
even
really got
met
close
my
in the
husband.
last, like, year or 2.
Yeah, where we're just, like, calling each other impromptu. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
been about a year or 2, but we've known each other for a long time, and we have not met in person, and that makes no sense. That makes no sense, and so
Harrison.
yeah, I'm just gonna plant the seed that there's going to be an in-person event going on soon for leaders and aspiring leaders who are ready to create that sovereignty in their life. So we're just planting that seed there. Okay, back to the program. Jacob, I know we've been talking a lot about crypto. Do we need to go a little bit more into that? Do we want to talk crypto? What do we want to talk about?
Just something's been floating in my brain that you said, and we can move on from it, but how you said it's just about building the muscle, and I love that metaphor. I actually share that same metaphor with all my clients who are having any kind of self-doubt, and for any of your listeners who may be having a little bit of self-doubt or a lot of bit of self-doubt. For example, my wife, just this morning, we were downstairs and she's been working on this podcast series for 3 months and she has poured her soul into this 8-part or 9-part series. She's just been lit up by it. Like every time I take the kids away, she's in creative mama mode working on her podcast stuff. She's almost done with it now. And she comes to me all open and vulnerable this morning. And she's like, I have the tism. My wife is pretty autistic and it's amazing and beautiful and I love it. And sometimes social interactions can be awkward for her. And because she doesn't feel like she can be fully herself, right? All the autistic little twinkles, I call them autistic twinkles. And she's like, "What if I interview people and like my tism comes out and I don't know what to say?" And got to love her in that moment and remind her what she already knew is that it's just a muscle she hasn't flexed in a while. And that was the exact thing I said to her. And to see the relief and like that, oh, you're right. I just, once you get going, once you start, once you have the courage just to do it and you flex that muscle, just like going to the gym, you know, days and then days become weeks, weeks become months, and all of a sudden you're really good at what you thought you would never be good at. It's just a muscle.
Mm.
And I love that because it makes it really accessible for people. I say, I love to quote, dare to suck,
Yeah.
dare to suck.
Yeah. At first, dare to, because you're not going to suck forever.
No,
You're not gonna suck forever. I love the way you talk about your wife. I love the way you talk about Karina. It's so sweet. It's so special. It brings me so much joy. And hearing men speak about their wives publicly with such adoration and admiration and sweetness, it is so pure and beautiful. I love that. When what it also makes me think about is on the topic of imperfections, not that there's a such thing as perfect or imperfect, it is really just what it is. But I think, bringing up that she might have some autistic traits. People will often think, well, I'm imperfect. I have these traits about me, or I have this quirk about me, or I have this speech impediment about me, or this thing that isn't quite perfect. It isn't quite desirable, or my nose looks a certain way, and so I can't show up. I can't have this because I'm not perfect. And perfectionism is one of the greatest thieves of success and joy. And sometimes people could look at you, Jacob, and think, oh, he's perfect. That's why. Or they look at me sometimes. I get projected on, oh, she's perfect. I am so not. I have struggled so much and I still struggle. And I definitely have very sensory autistic traits you'll see in person. I like the temperature has to be a certain way and lights really set me off and sounds. If you make a loud noise around me, I get very like it's a big thing. And like textures and I'm very sensory autistic. I have weird things. And that sometimes used to be such a thing for me. And I had OCD around and all kinds of things. But I never let that stop me because it doesn't matter. These little quirks, these imperfections, one, they don't matter, and two, if they matter, they just are cute. The little things about us are just cute, and
your
so
quirks are your superpowers.
yeah, for sure.
And
They
when you embrace them, you give other people permission to do the same, which makes you more likable, more influential,
Hmm.
more cool.
What's a quirk of yours?
I asked my wife.
If your wife
So
was
many.
here, what would she say?
Oh God. I shout and bang my chest randomly like an animal. Just
I love it.
I messy houses. Well, I shouldn't say messy houses. Having our house messy irks me. So like I go into cleaning daddy mode and I just get everything cleaned. I don't know if you could say that a quirk. Me and my wife have this thing where I don't know, Smith, do you ever see the charade I did of Karina and her of me
I have, yeah, back a while ago.
a while ago?
Yeah.
So we've been meaning to do another episode. We have these notes in our phones, and it's called Jacob Charade and Karina Charade. Karina's my wife for your listeners. And it's just we write down in the moment like the little quirks that each of us do. And then as soon as we make the time for it, we are going to act out that quirk as if I'm my wife and Karina, my wife, is me. And it's just such a fun way to bond and laugh at each other's quirks and vulnerabilities. And
Yeah.
it just, that's something I really love about my wife. And I know I'm dancing around your question, what are my quirks? But frankly, she has 100 written down and I can't think of one right now.
I like it. Well, I think, just primal roaring, like in the grocery store.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
are there seed oils in this salad dressing?
I'm just silly. Like
Yeah.
that's a big value of mine is lightheartedness and silliness. And I
Mm.
know we come on this podcast and we talk about sovereignty and wealth and being a man and a powerful woman and whatever it is, but like to me, true spirituality is joy, lightheartedness, it's flexibility. Yeah.
Those are things I really had to learn. Not joy, I've always been joyful, but like silliness and flexibility. I was being raised in a very chaotic household with a lot of trauma. I felt my nervous system was so rigid, and I was somebody that was so defensive. You could not make a joke about me. Oh, you could not pick at me. I would lose it when I was young. I was really, and to be able to laugh at myself and to be able to just like have people make fun of me or pick at me, and especially, I had immense OCD as a kid and I was super rigid, even my body. My girlfriends could do the splits. I couldn't even open my legs like 40 degrees. Like I was so rigid in those things. And it really took a lot for me to heal my nervous system and to heal that aspect of me and to not be so serious, to be more silly and more playful and more flowy, more flexible. And, not that I'm 100% there, but, yeah, that's been a big part of the journey is to not take life so seriously. Because imagine getting to the end of it and looking back and being like, "Oh, I never really laughed." I couldn't I couldn't just, like I was never chill, I was always explosive and always so tightly wound and like a guitar string that you pluck and then it just rips off. Like, that's just not it just doesn't have to be that way.
Congrats on all the work you've done because
Thank you.
now it's so easy. Like I think I've told you this so many times. Like one of my biggest values in friendship is having fun.
Yeah.
And it's been so easy to connect with you, Samantha, and laugh with you and, poke fun at your quirks just like mine. And like you take it like a champ now and it's all joy.
I think on your Instagram live, we talked about that, like, when the negative stories come in or the little demons, I actually don't see them as a part of me. I kinda have a different mental frame, but I see them as outside of me, like, trying to come in, and I kinda just created these systems where I put, like, this antivirus up, or when a little demon tries to come in and be like, "Oh," especially recently, I'm noticing all these wrinkles, I'm almost 40, and it's starting to affect me. I see face wrinkles and eye wrinkles, and it's starting to bother me a little bit, and I have this little demon voice of, like, "You're aging, and you're not as beautiful." And I just, like, flick it. I just see, like, "Demon, you little pew," and I see it, like, pew, and then just go flying, and I laugh. And I bring some funniness to it, some joy to it, because I feel like the joy alchemizes the negativity that these little demons try to bestow upon us. And so, yeah, I think being able
I
to
love the
dance with them.
flick.
Yeah, just like
It's almost like an NLP technique. Like,
it is
oh,
an
I'm just
NLP technique.
imagining goodbye, demon. Boop.
That's exactly what it
Like
is. It's an
it's amazing.
NLP technique. Not today, Satan. Pew, Doesn't have to be so heavy. That's the thing. People meta shame their shame. So they're like, "Oh, I noticed that I had this negative thought. Oh my gosh, why am I still having this negative thought? I thought I go over this negative thought. Why do I just do this to myself? I have this negative thought again. Oh my god, and I'm not over it yet." And you're like meta shaming the shame and then guilting the shame and then babe, just flick it away, have a little laugh, and get back onto your center.
You are the commander of your mind. If you well, you're not your thoughts. Like that's something that really changed my life is just
Yeah.
you ever read Pema Chodron stuff? The Buddhist
Mhm.
monk Pema Chodron?
Yep.
I read her books in my early 20s and they were really helpful for me because they reminded me, "Oh, I'm not my thoughts."
Yeah.
Who knows where those thoughts came from? Could be from a different dimension, could be from a movie I watched. I mean, who knows? But I don't need to attach myself to any of those thoughts. I can just witness them like the waves in the ocean. You know, tide comes in, tide goes out. But a step beyond that, in my opinion, is I'm not just the witnesser of my thoughts, I'm the commander of them. No,
Mm,
I don't choose to think that way. Thank you very much. Flick, goodbye.
yeah.
I'm going to choose to think this way instead because this way empowers me. This way makes me feel good. This way brings me joy. This way brings me solace or ease.
Yeah.
You are the commander.
You are, and it's so good to know you are not your thoughts, and your thoughts are so powerful because just like
Yes.
when you eat a food, right? You eat an apple, your body breaks down the apple, you absorb the apple. Well, when you think a thought, that sends a signal in your neurosynapses and sends that signal down through your nervous system to every single cell in your body. And so the thought is a pharmacy. Your brain and your nervous system is the greatest pharmacy. And so the negative thought is sending a little negative thought baby down your nervous system. And the positive thought is priming your body for health, for regeneration, for healing, for expansion, optimization. And so while you're not your thoughts and you're the commander of your thoughts, it's so important to know your thoughts do matter because your thoughts become your feelings then emit into your behaviors and your personality and your interactions. That is what is constructing your inner reality. And so get
And
to
your
the
outer
root.
reality.
Yeah, and your outer exactly, your outer reality, because your inner reality thus stimulates and reflects and creates your outer reality. So yeah, your
The
thoughts.
the biology of belief.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And isn't it cool when we really attune to that? When we're really like, I'm gonna take the time because in the beginning you need to invest time and energy. It's like they're sneaky. I'm gonna invest the time and energy to be a freaking ninja and to watch every thought and to be aware of the things I'm saying about myself and others, and then to watch what I do and what I eat and how I interact and how I show up in the world. When you start to attune to that and be aware and be the witness of yourself, and then consciously choose how you want to be, that is where all the power comes from.
Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will run your life and you will call it fate. Carl Jung.
Boom.
I think people get so annoyed, Samantha, when you say, like, you need to change your thoughts, like, first. It's fascinating to witness how just the idea of changing the way you're thinking about things or perceiving things can radically and completely change the trajectory of your entire life.
Yeah.
It's it truly is that simple. It's just it's just not easy to do consistently. It's not complex. Change isn't hard. It's just not easy because
Yeah.
our body is habituated to think in these ways, to perform in these ways, to feel these emotions. Like we've been conditioned through our life experiences to think, behave, and feel in specific ways. And breaking those habits is hard at first. And
Yeah.
then just like building the muscle, you do it and it gets easier and easier and easier and easier and easier. And that's really the recipe for all change and success.
Totally. I think about a train or I think about like something spinning, like a machine spinning, but think about a train. If a train is running in one direction and you want to stop the train and you need to stop it fast, that takes so much energy. The
Mhm.
brakes and like it's like hard, it's like so much. It's hard to stop it. And then to get it to go the other direction, you have to change the gears and you have to like get it started up. And that's where it takes the most energy. For a
Yes.
train, it's like all
Great
of that
metaphor.
fuel. And to get started, it's this heavy machine and it takes so much. But once it's rolling, it's rolling. And then it's really fuel efficient. It's really easy to roll. It's just going. And that's what transformation is, I find, is shifting from negative thinking or negative being or negative interacting to thinking differently. In the beginning, you are a train in one direction and you have to slow it down and then shift directions. And yeah, it's going to be harder in the beginning, right? It's not easy. It's going to take work and effort and attention and time. But then it gets easier and easier and easier. And then it just becomes your normal. Like for me, I don't have to try to think positive. I don't have to try to not be triggered. I don't have to try to not be defensive or try to not be unwell. Like I'm just happy and positive pretty much all the time. And when I'm not, it's so easy to get back on
Yep.
because my whole body and mind and essence is primed for that now. It would take a lot for me to go down into the depths of depression and stay there. Like I don't even think that's possible anymore. So like, if you need to know that it's not gonna be hard forever, like, switching who you are or your marriage or building a business, there's a time where it's hard, and that's almost like the time where you have to prove to yourself, to God, to the universe, like, "Hey, I'm committed to this," right? And to prove that, but then you just get into motion, and it's so much easier.
Momentum is such a powerful force.
That's it. It's momentum.
It is. That train metaphor was brilliant.
Mm. Thanks. What have we not talked about that you really want to talk about?
We could talk about investing. We could talk about crypto. We could talk about health.
Mm. Okay, let's go in because this is something that actually I'm glad you brought up health. Let's go tap out to health and then go into the crypto thing because I want to know. I want to get the download on your. You're one of the people that really mentors me in that space and is always sharing stuff with me. So I appreciate that. That on the health topic, obviously eat well, move your body, get into nature. We know that. But what I really think people need to hear and they don't know enough of is how your thoughts and how you perceive your life and the world affects your health. Right? We can talk about German new medicine, we can talk about whatever, but most people don't realize that the resentments that they hold towards themselves and others, or that the stress or the hatred they have for their job, or the depression that they're holding is directly connected to every single cell and organ in their body. And liberating themselves from health ailments, sickness, disease is so much more mental than anyone will tell you, especially anyone
It's
in the medical field.
it's flabbergasting people don't have that understanding. Like you can't just sit here and think a really negative or disheartening story or belief about yourself or about your life and immediately feel shitty and constricted and enclosed and like heavy and not think that doesn't affect your organism. Like, what? And then the opposite when you are focused on a positive future, focused on how grateful and awesome your life is now, focused on how many opportunities you have, how alive and vibrant and joyful and empowered and badass and vital that you feel. What do you fucking mean our thoughts don't affect our biology?
Well, that's the thing. I went to, so my university degree is in psychology. I majored in psychology, but I also double majored in sociology. And had I not had the sociology part, just the psychology part, they don't ever, they do not ever talk about how the brain and the body is really connected. Like they don't ever talk about health issues and disease being connected to mind. They maybe talk about, well, stress is the root cause of kind of everything, but they leave it at that. They don't go deeper. And then in sociology, we learn about how you're shaped by your society and other people around you and all of this different thing. But they don't really talk about the psychology part specifically. And then I studied natural medicine and they're talking about, foods and our bodies. But even there, they weren't talking so much. We had one little course on the psychology of disease. And I feel so grateful that I had sociology, a little bit of anthropology, psychology, and then natural medicine. And because where they converge is where true healing is. But yet, in our big, fancy, $40,000 degrees of psychology, you don't even learn that the body and the brain are connected. Like, how crazy is that?
I think everybody, if your listeners haven't read the book Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton,
Yeah.
it's a great place to start that gives you
Yes.
the exact science and data
Yeah.
and storytelling to just make it incalculably obvious that your body and brain and it's all connected.
Yes.
I also want to touch on how like if you have gut dysbiosis, if your liver is tanked from drinking and smoking and eating processed food, like if your organs are shot, it's hard to think positively.
Absolutely.
They go hand in hand.
Yeah.
That's why you're like Samantha said, your eating, your sun, your exercise, like combined with positive thinking, like they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So if your body is hurting, it's a lot harder to think positive. So
Well,
you got to
mostly.
have the external habits in place as well as the internal habits in place to truly thrive and be sovereign.
And that's the thing. People need to learn about how their bodies work, like even hormones. Well, your hormones, like without your liver, you can't convert them or metabolize them properly. Your brain chemicals, without your gut, where they're synthesized and sent upwards, you can't create them properly. Or like your digestion, without your nervous system being in rest and digest, you cannot digest properly. People need to understand how their bodies work, how their organ systems work, how their brain works, how they're connected b to be able to just be a functioning human. And I know it's not your fault, you weren't taught this in school, but now you have AI, you have the internet, you have coaches, you have many programs. I think a responsibility to be a sovereign being is to know how your brain and body works.
100%. I would advise everyone to, if you're aware of some destructive habits that you have, or self-defeating habits, or negative habits, and you do them. What am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is, don't go longer than a day not getting back on the bandwagon of positive habits.
Yeah.
Like, if you miss a day of exercise, that's fine. Don't overthink it, but make sure you exercise for at least 5 minutes the next day.
Mm.
If you miss out on being grateful for how amazing your life is, and your life is amazing, granted, all the amazing things we have access to in the 21st century, people's lives are amazing. I'm not saying everybody doesn't have, not privilege is an obvious thing, but compared to what life used to be even 100 years ago, everybody has a genuinely good quality of life. And by everyone, I mean most people.
Yeah.
In other words, there is so much you can be grateful for. Like, if you miss a day of gratitude, refocus the next day on all the amazing stuff in your life. Like, if
Mm.
you go without a day, that's fine, but don't miss more than two. Get back on the bandwagon of the things that do bring you a sense of personal power and sovereignty in your life.
Yeah. That's the thing, the spiral, right? Everything I use the train analogy, but it's more of like a spiral analogy. You're either spiraling downwards or you're spiraling upwards. Jacob said it, you're either growing or you're dying. And it's true. You're either going up or you're going down. You're not really, there's no stagnant is down. That's the
Yes.
thing with money. If money's sitting, it's going down. If your health is just stagnant, like you are aging, you are not on the way to birth. You're on the way to death, right? Like, so you're either going up or you're going down. So I love that, and it's yeah, just get back on. This is the
Get
path. I
back
really
on.
feel like they talk about this in the Bible, like the pathway to heaven is as fine as the head of a needle. Like that's kind of it. I find th- life really is about finding that pathway of what's right for you, of what's true for you, of what's good for you. And it's okay. You're a human. You're imperfect human. You're gonna fall off, but don't let yourself fall off for days, weeks, years,
Yes.
decades. Just
That's
just
it.
pop back on, compassionately pop yourself back on the path. Pretty much everyone does know the path, right? You know what's good for you. You know what's bad for you pretty much, right? So just commit to really going all in on yourself. Commit to doing the things that you know are good for you and surround yourself with other people that hold you to that. I've been investing in crypto because I do believe that that's the future and I've been supported by people that know what's up like you. Um and let's talk about that a little bit now. We are on a very interesting trajectory where things are about to shift massively. And so, what do people need to know about crypto right now?
99% of cryptocurrencies are total bullshit, and they will fail. Think of your meme coins, your NFTs, even a lot of the cryptocurrency companies will fail. It all comes down to utility. What companies are solving the biggest problems in our world? And for me, the easiest sector to focus on is the financial system. The New World Order, the elite, whatever you want to call the moneymakers, they want data to move at the speed of light, which it already does. I am talking live with Samantha through a data stream in real time. I can send a video from America to Japan and have it be received in 3 seconds. Data moves at the speed of light. We want goods. The elite want goods to move at the speed of light. Already does. I can order an Amazon package, have it delivered same day to my house, virtually anywhere with modern infrastructure. Now, the financial system, that's the only part of that triad, goods, data, and money, that does not yet move at the speed of light. The financial system has been running on the same archaic rails called Swift since the 1970s. That's why it takes days to move money from America to another country, on top of a hefty amount of fees. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to add up how much those fees cost governments and banks a year. We're
Yeah.
talking billions and trillions of dollars just in fees alone that banks and institutions and governments are losing. And then the taxpayer has to pay those back. And it's a whole wicked, disturbing cycle. The point is, the financial system evolving benefits the big institutions, which then will ripple down into the people who are smart enough to invest in these new financial rails. I choose to focus on the blockchain technologies and the digital assets that are offering global solutions to the old payment rails, because that's where I believe, that's where I know the big institutional money is. It's the money. It's the financial system.
Yeah. So what are the actual companies, coins that you are invested in or that you recommend being invested in?
I recommend, and not financial advice, I recommend everyone immediately, as soon as possible, look into Ripple XRP. I call these the four horsemen of the financial evolution: XRP, XLM, HBAR, HBAR, and XDC.
Did you say Bitcoin there? You did not, hey?
I did not say Bitcoin.
So, when we talk about world solve and not talking about Bitcoin, the what I had understood was Bitcoin is like a digital gold, right? It's a asset that will run out, that there's only a certain amount of. Do you agree with that? Do you hold any Bitcoin? Do you think it's worth having Bitcoin? Or are you really just talking about these other companies that have that real world solve?
The thing with Bitcoin is, my research tells me it was a beta test coin, BTC, beta test coin, that American and foreign intelligence agencies created to test the new digital infrastructure that we were moving towards. You guys got to remember that this has been planned for decades. This isn't anything new under the sun. Uh, those, like I said in the beginning, those who control the money control the world. Those who has the gold makes the rules. Those who control the new financial rails make the rules. So I believe Bitcoin was made to usher people into a new digitized system. However, it has flaws. There's no possible reality where everybody in the world could move on the rails of Bitcoin. It's too clunky. It's too slow. So that's where Bitcoin kind of became the narrative of, oh, this is digital gold. This is not a payment rail that people can use sustainably because it's too slow. Like Venmo and PayPal are nearly faster than Bitcoin. So it's not actually solving the global liquidity problem. It's just digital gold. Now, the fact that the biggest companies in the world, BlackRock, who has a higher GDP than many countries in the world, BlackRock and Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, and many other big institutions, including the US government and many other international governments, own Bitcoin. Until I start seeing them sell off the Bitcoin, which could happen overnight, we don't know, I still think it's a valuable asset to invest in. And it's a safe asset to invest in. I don't personally invest in Bitcoin because that switch could happen. It could, like BlackRock, who owns 60% of the world total Bitcoin, could just sell it off like that, and then it would tank overnight. And would it go up again? Probably, maybe. There's just no functional value to Bitcoin as a utility. It's only a commodity, or not a commodity, a deflationary asset because there is a limited supply, which inherently makes it valuable. But
Hmm.
that's why I don't focus on Bitcoin. I focus on the actual technologies that are forming the new rails for money to move across the world and at the speed of light, which is
Hmm.
XRP.
Mm. Gotcha.
Also, because I'm on a rampage, if Bitcoin goes to a million, huzzah! That's 10xing your money. From right now to a million is 10xing your money. That's a great return. I have 500xed my money this year because of
Mm.
XRP, XLM, HBAR, and XDC.
And you're not just you haven't just invested like $200, $500. Some people that are getting into crypto, they're like, "Oh, I put in $200." That's not the game that you're playing.
No, I've been accumulating since 2020. It's been a slow and painful and patient ride. But
Yeah.
now that there's regulatory clarity, for your listeners who don't know, the Genius Act was just passed in the US House. Trump signed it into law. That is stablecoin regulation. Who has the most trustworthy stablecoin in the entire world? Do you know,
Mm.
Samantha?
Is it XRP?
Ripple. Ripple
Yeah.
XRP. So
Yeah.
XRP is the coin, Ripple is the company. Ripple owns the most regulatory, clear, and safe stablecoin. And that's been already, people way smarter than me have already proven that and written the articles.
Mm.
So, oh shit, they have the most trustworthy stablecoin. Ripple already surpassed Citibank in terms of GDP. They're
Wow.
an incredibly wealthy company that is solving the global liquidity and debt crisis.
Mm. See, this is the thing, for anyone listening where you're like, this is way over my head. Me too, honestly. Me too. Like all of this was way over my head. I understand a very beginner level because I have people like Jacob. I'm in his Telegram group. I also use ChatGPT. I say, hey, be like an out of the matrix crypto advisor and help me understand it in simple terms. Make me an investment plan based on what I have, that I can, based on my risk or based on my tolerance or based on what I have, and then help me exactly know when I need to pull out here or this. Like, if you're thinking, well, this is too above my knowledge grade, or I don't care about this, I really think that you need to. I really do. I really believe, I've been invested in cryptocurrency since 2017, and I really don't even know that much. But I know really smart people, and I listen and I watch patterns and I follow global economics and I see where the world is going, right? We were in the industrial age for all of our lives, and now we're not. We're not in the industrial age anymore. We are in the digital age. And like Jacob was saying, everything is going digital. Our
Everything.
money is, well, it's already kind of digital, but it's going to be even more
Fully
digital,
digitized.
fully
Everything is
digital.
going to be digitized. That's the end game for the
Yeah.
money makers. Like they want a fully digitized economy. Data move at the speed of light, goods to move at the speed of light, money to move at the speed of light. That
Yeah.
is how you control people. But those who owns the rails of the new system will not be able to be controlled because they will be so wealthy.
Yeah. And that's what I believe, not that I can say with 100% certainty. I don't have that certainty. Maybe you do. I don't have that full certainty, but I do believe that based on the research that I've done, what I'm seeing at the global level, what the big players like the Donald Trumps and the Larry Finks and the Vanguard and the BlackRock, and if you don't even need to be a crazy investigator. You just need to follow a little bit. Like follow a few people that you trust, do a little bit of research, take 15, 20 minutes a day to learn a little bit more, because we are at a pivotal time in history where everything is going to change. And you're either going to be on that train or you're going to be left behind, truly.
For your listeners, guys, I'm not, I've been accused a few times recently of uh, putting out fear based posts and like FUD. And that's never my intention. It's part of being a successful investor is getting into the game early.
Yeah.
For example, I got into XRP when it was under 40 cents. Now it just hit a new all time high of 360. That's a 400% increase at
Yeah.
least. So, yeah, you want to get into the game early so you can maximize your returns. And you're also really early to this game. Like, if you think of this new financial infrastructure being fully integrated into a vast majority of the global economy, like Ripple's CEO said, they want to have a minimum of 14% of Swift's network by 2030. For those, again, Swift is the current financial rails that money moves across. So money goes to bank, it uses the Swift network. If Ripple takes even 14% of that, that makes Ripple a multiple 3 and 4 figure asset. It's $3 right now.
Yeah. Yeah, just because there's a lot of hype doesn't mean you're too late. I was so many of my girlfriends, I got them onto crypto, and some of my unfortunately, some of my family members that still don't wanna listen, they're just like, "Oh, it's too late," or like, "Oh, I don't really care," "Oh, it's too high now." I'm like, "No." They said that when XRP was at $1.50, "Oh, it's too high now." I'm like, "It's 6 months later, it's at $4 Canadian." Like, if you woulda just listened then, 6 months ago, you would have doubled your money. It's just so interesting to how people think about things.
Samantha, people were still buying the Nvidia stock. You know, Nvidia
Yeah.
makes the AI chips
NVIDIA, yeah.
for almost $1,000 a share.
NVIDIA is gonna
It's
just keep blowing up.
Oh, it's going to
It's
keep
not
rolling up. People
stopping.
are buying Apple and Microsoft at $500 a share. And there's so many
Yeah.
other companies out there that are hundreds or 3 or 4 figures that people are still buying shares of. Here's to make it really simple for your audience. We are witnessing with cryptocurrencies, digital assets, the financial system. It's like the 1997, 1998 internet boom, except
Mhm.
it's about AI. It's about blockchain technologies. It's about the new financial infrastructure. All you need to know is like you are so early right now
Mm.
and the financial system is changing. And if you just look up what are the key assets that are shaping the new financial infrastructure, you'll have your answers. And then
Yeah.
you'll just keep doing more research and building conviction the way I have for 5 years. And now nobody can flood me out of XRP.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And it's like I had been screaming from the top of my lungs for so many years about vaccines and about, like chemicals. Like I've been talking about this for 15 years. And people are like, why are you trying to fearmonger? I'm like, no, babe, I'm not trying to fearmonger you. It's just when you're so convicted about something and you just know to your core where things are going, you share that out of the love and generosity of your heart because you want to help people. You want to see people win and you don't want to see people die and lose. Right. And so I just want to thank you because we are wrapping up now because we are at time. I want to thank you, Jacob, for sharing all of your gifts and your wisdom and your brilliance and your quirks and your energy, your time out of the generosity and the love in your heart. It is so well received. It is so felt and it is so, so greatly appreciated.
I love you.
I love you. You're the best. And we're going to share your links. We're going to share your stuff. We're going to share your planners. We're going to share everything. And so, for everyone listening, thank you so much for investing your time with us today. It is truly our honor to have you. And more than anything, you got some good nuggets. Don't just take it and let it go. Do something about it. Eat it up, digest it, let it become you. And we want to see you win. We love you so much.
Knowledge is only powerful when it's applied to your life.
Exactly. So from
Last
Jacob's
one.
heart to my heart to your heart, stay sovereign, my friends. We love you so much.
Love you. Kisses. Mwah.